You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Why, hello, everybody. It's Miranda. Welcome to Miranda's World, joined by Chris Spangle.
Hello.
Ha.
I sounded very odd. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I am still reeling from the last episode of Miranda's World. It was a very emotional episode of Miranda's World.
In the feels.
Yes, it was touching, and touching in a different way than Miranda usually does. So I enjoyed it, and I think if people haven't heard it yet, they should go back and listen.
Yeah,
and
watch it on Instagram.
So we were talking about understanding people and isolation, and I think part of that, I wanted to get your opinion on the Las Vegas shooting, because I think part of what we talked about in that last episode plays into it, but let's just start with your overall reaction. I mean, when you woke up Monday, what did you think?
Okay, I'm not even going to tell you what day it was when I found out it happened, but...
No. Now you have to tell us.
Okay, hold on here. Let's think about this.
All right, today is Saturday.
I'm thinking it was like Wednesday.
You found out 2 days after the worst national shooting had ever happened.
Wednesday or Thursday, yeah.
Now...
I don't watch television. I don't listen to the radio because I listen to Spotify Premium.
Okay.
And I don't have Facebook.
Do you have any news apps on your phone at all?
No.
So you didn't get any push notifications whatsoever from anybody?
No.
So how did you find out about it?
Somebody having to say something. I'm like, what? What? And then I started I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I started Googling. I'm like, what do you mean what happened in Las Vegas? Oh, I saw something. Oh no, I saw something that was posted on your website now I'm like 90 years old.
Yeah, you're really living in like 1984.
I am. Okay,
yeah.
I saw something on your Instagram about, I think it was the GoFundMe that was created by, or maybe it wasn't you, it was just somebody else.
No, it was me. I posted the GoFundMe, yeah.
Yeah, the GoFundMe by the Las Vegas official,
right.
government officials or whatever. And I thought, wow, I mean, is this like victims of people that lost money? I'm like, what's going on here? What are we doing? And so I Googled it and I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
It's not what I was expecting. I'm very perplexed though.
Okay.
I feel like I don't trust it. I don't trust the whole thing.
Okay.
Because it's got setup written all over it to me.
Okay, in what way?
Just from, again, you got to think my perspective coming so last minute into things. Like I have a different perspective because it didn't catch me quite emotionally.
Sure.
As everybody else, because I was like, obviously if you caught it as it's happening, it's like, you find out this and then you're waiting for the next information and the next. And when I got it, all the information pretty much was there. You know what I mean? Like they're still looking for bodies and trying to figure out why. But I mean, as I'm understanding what exactly he did, as I'm like hearing it for the first time, the whole thing together. And it's like, now why? Why? I mean, when people do things like this, we don't ever like have a reason where we get it and we're like, oh, I would have done that too. But you usually have a reason of why they've done it. And there's a trail of things that make sense that leads you to believe that.
Sure. That's part of the problem with this is that, doesn't seem like he was a ghost and he just doesn't, he's just like a regular dude. There's no motivation at all that seems clear here. It's hard to understand why.
Regular dude.
One of your customers, to be honest. He like...
No. His wife's from the Philippines. He's not my customer.
No, he just seems like one of those guys who, he goes to the bar, hangs out, 64-year-old man, probably
He's one of the guys that, gets a mail order bride from the Philippines.
Right.
And he doesn't go hang on the bars and do his thing, but she's there when he gets home. But, that's a whole, there's a whole submissive situation, you know what I mean? And a power, I don't know. There's a whole thing to that, too, that I see with the relationship usually in that, dynamic. But, and also, like, those women, hell, like, I'm like, we need to get her in a box. Like, lock her up, make her talk, because whatever happened, she knows. She knows what's going on. And she probably hyped him up to do it because he didn't have no goddamn reason. She was probably like, oh, Jason Aldean, his fan, take my man. Why don't you go kill women at Jason Aldean concert?
Well, that was pretty racist.
No, I do a very good oh no, it's a Vietnamese. I do a good Vietnamese accent. Yes.
Yeah, so she was...
She had to hype him up at why? I still don't know why.
Yeah, she sweated him. They sweated her in the box, as the cops say, for 5 hours, and she said she never saw any signs, she never saw any guns, she never saw anything, she knows nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly what you say, because you already knew the whole thing from go. Like, y'all talked about this, you rehearsed it, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, the whole thing is just so ate up. And it's like, yeah, he is retired. I mean, he did his, like, certain thing. It's like, you guys spent a lot of time together. It's not like he was out working.
8 months in a retirement, my grandparents are in a retirement community. It's not that big of a place, and he had 40 giant weapons. Like, he had 40 guns that he was
And it doesn't make sense, no matter
collecting.
what. To do what he did... If he had planned that, which he obviously did, anybody with common sense, I mean, and this is like, I like put this together in my own mind, and that may say something about me in probably 5 seconds, because I'm like, he had all those different guns, all that different stuff. He had explosives, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what he did, I'm like, you didn't even cause the maximum damage you could have done.
Yeah, he left the that's part of what I don't understand,
and I mean, you
too.
didn't need all those random guns. Honestly, what would you need? 2 AR-15s, tons of ammo, and your explosives. You're going to scatter explosive. You're going to let that happen. Those people are down. People are spraying. You're going to spray. Then explosive, and then spray. That would be maximum damage. You're going to get, I mean, I'm just saying. And it's like, if that was your goal, is to make a name for yourself, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like, you wouldn't carry up all those guns. Why would you need guns with scopes? You weren't trying to take out one individual.
Right.
That doesn't even make sense. And it's like, what the hell? I mean, I don't know. And then the media's coverage of the victims. Why do I kept seeing probably 6 attractive women over and over remembering the victims. We just keep showing these 6.
Yeah, you're right. It is really just...
It's disgusting.
It is mostly just women, and mostly, you know...
But it's not just only women at a Jason Aldean concert.
Right.
And I just feel like everything is being, like, as far as the media, everything is being plugged to as far as, like, what... trying to trigger emotional responses from people. Mm-hmm. And it's... And then all of a sudden, Jason Aldean's, like... guitarist or whoever, like within like a couple of days, like flip-flopped his, you know, lifelong stance on gun control, and he's like, yeah, we do need it. Well, this guy might have bought some of those guns legally, but criminals, they actually buy them illegally.
He bought all those weapons legally. He passed every background check. Like he was within every legal right to have any of that stuff.
And it's like I bet the U.S. government probably wouldn't mind paying that Philippine chick for the loss of her husband to prove a point to America.
All right, okay, so we've gone full down the rabbit hole here.
Well, I'm just saying that's as far as it could go. You know what I mean? But honestly, that's the way I feel. Like, it's just very crazy, and it's like none of it makes sense. And then all of a sudden we start hearing this gun control, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, again, even in this case, that's fine that he acquired them legally. But I would say, I don't have the exact statistic in front of me, but I would bet 8 out of 10 times that criminals are using guns. They bought them on the street illegally because they bought them from somebody stolen. They don't want it traced back to them.
Right.
I mean, there's a million reasons.
Most gun deaths are 2/3 of gun deaths are men killing themselves. Like, it's suicide. 2/3 is suicide. The next biggest block is related to gang violence and drugs. And then the third, at 1,700 gun deaths a year, and not to minimize that number, it's a terrible number, but it's the third largest set is
accidental.
It is domestic violence. Women being killed by domestic violence. And I can tell you, having spent some time with Amanda from Amanda's Story, episode 141, I think it was, 142, on We Are Libertarians, like, you go back and listen to that and hear her experience with the government and domestic violence. And I saw her last night, and we're going to do an update on that story. Lost custody of her child to the abuser.
I have a good story. We need to bring someone on the show and to discuss something.
Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, you hear all of the ways that the government fucked her and her daughter and empowered the abuser. Like, let's fix that. Let's end the war on drugs. Let's allow more health insurance to be cheaper by selling it across state lines so more mental health can be provided for. Like, let's do what we talked about in the last episode, which is just be nice to each other. Pretend that not everybody is just a piece of trash and start actually engaging with people. And let's fix that stuff first instead of eroding a constitutional right and pretending that it's a privilege. It's not. I mean, getting rid of guns are not the answer. The media, I don't know if you probably have not heard this, but there was another car or truck plowed into a group of people in London today by a terrorist. So instead of using a gun to kill multiple people and commit a mass murder, they're using cars in London because there's no guns there. People are going to commit mass murder, and it's done on such a small scale that it's like 5 in the last 10 years. And it's not to minimize the loss of those people, but it's just so emotional and overdone that it's used to try and advance the ultimate agenda of gun confiscation.
Well, yeah, because think about it. What group of people gives a fuck enough to go through a lot of trouble and like kill their own damn selves to just say, let's prove a point to America? You know what I mean?
Japan has the highest suicide rate in the world and no guns. And people don't kill themselves in Japan with guns. They hang themselves. People are going to do what they do. So let's not like the guns are not the issue.
Right.
There's more guns in this country than anything else. We're not going to roll that back. Like it's just such again, we fall into these arguments as a nation of nonsense. You know, my friend that I just talked about with the domestic violence is alive because of a gun. Like he was using a crowbar to break into her window. Her boyfriend racked a shotgun, put it in his face, and he ran. And then he came back 2 hours later after seeing the shotgun to try and break in with the crowbar and kill her with a baseball bat. With a baseball bat. Like but she only had a fighting chance to survive because of a gun. Like it just infuriates me because even I'm not a gun person, but it's just like it's the wrong argument.
It is.
It's the wrong debate.
Well, it is, and that's why I say it's just so strange. The whole thing is so strange when we have no reason to understand why any of this has happened. And again, if he was a terrorist or something like that, again, what group of people gives a shit enough? Like, we're going to start killing as many people as we can at a Jason Aldean concert in Las Vegas. And
right.
It's like, I see there's something coming. There's some kind of a push with something to do with Las Vegas, that some agenda is coming out of that. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a Trump agenda for his hotel. Who knows? I don't know. It could be anything. I don't care. But I know there's some agenda coming across with the fact. And it's like, think about how many illegal things and how many probably illegal guns and renting guns and things you can do there. And it's like all the people and all the stuff that can happen and all the places that have so many people in one arena and so forth and so on. And if you're going to kill yourself anyway, you could have blown this whole motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many different... Nobody's done anything over all the years, and then we have something like this.
Right.
And it's just very, very strange.
Yeah. So what do you think happened? I mean, do you have a theory? I mean,
I really don't have a theory because...
Like, so just to be clear...
But I can point out the things that don't make sense to me, and they show me that something's amiss.
Okay, so you don't, quote-unquote, believe the official story that we're being told.
No, I don't. And honestly, again, I don't know if did the government pay them off to do this, because he had money and stuff. So who knows? There's obviously something else underlying there that would have been a motivation. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I feel like the government is behind it. You know, there's some type of an agenda here. First of all, with gun control, but second of all, there's something else going on. But it's also... And I mean, who knows what else is going on, because now we're all talking about that. You know what I mean? It's also it could be a very nice diversion. But it's like, who knows really what happened to that guy that made him do it. But there is definitely no logic. There's nothing that would make any of this make sense to even understand what his thought process would have been doing it.
Yeah, I'm more likely to always believe the story. I mean, like Tower 7 and 9/11. Like, I remember watching it fall down. I remember watching a news report on, I think it was CNN, saying they brought down Tower 7 because it needed to be brought down because it was unsafe for the workers in the area and it was going to collapse, and so they brought it down. Like, I don't know why it wasn't in the report or whatever, but like I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like I remember why I believed that whole official story. Like I'm not like I do think the CIA killed Kennedy, but that's a whole different show. But like so I'm open to the idea of all of it. It's just hard for me to accept that like somebody in the government says let's just shoot machine guns into a giant crowd.
But really think about it.
But at the same time, I don't.
Who else would have that agenda?
Something just doesn't make up. Something doesn't make sense here. Well, I mean, ISIS, for instance.
Well, yeah, but again, that's very willy-nilly for them. That we have nothing that would make us even think that could be related. I mean, seriously, again, it's like you still see a chain of events where things make sense as to the logic as to why the reasoning. When with anything like that, it's like they were planted here, they did this and this. You know what I mean? It's like we can go back and say, oh wow, that if anybody known what to look for, they would have seen that coming.
Right.
But with this, no, it does not make sense at all. And then when I'm sitting there flabbergasted trying to figure out, wrapping my mind around it, I then am hit with the media's pushing of their agendas. And so that's when it's like, again, because it hit me so last minute again, where everything's now, because it's like they're just hitting you with all the facts again in a row and there's no spacing in between them. And it's like, it's like such a direct agenda that I'm almost like, that's almost too obvious. I can't believe that, like, I'm like, could it even be an agenda? I'm like, surely the government would be smarter than that. They would like be a little more subtle but no, I mean, there's nothing that I've seen come out of this other than pushing for gun control, and possibly keeping people, out of Vegas for a little while. Which, hey, out there by the desert and where the government owns the property,
right?
I don't know. You know what I mean? Who knows what the hell they're doing out there? We'll never know.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's why I can't say like I have an idea as to what it could be, because I would never know what the hell they're doing out there.
Yeah.
But it's funny to me. You know what I mean? It's like that's just it. It's like if you see something again, you take out all the emotional, effects from it, and it's like things just they would have to add up to something, and they don't. But then the only thing they lead to is agendas pushed by the government. So where does that leave us to believe? You know what I mean?
Right.
And also, again, the victims, when there's that many victims, how did we, I know that it's, okay, attractive women, of course, attractive women get the, most publicity or will draw the eye and stuff. I get that. But you don't even go through all the victims and show all of their photos, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I've seen a couple old middle-aged white guys. I mean, but yeah, when you're right. Like when they talk about the victims, it is middle-aged white women.
There's there's about 6 of them. They have good jobs.
Yep.
They're good people. And I understand that that's the kind of thing that I guess draws attention to your media, blah, blah, blah. But if I were a family member of any of those other victims that are not getting shown, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm pissed off for them, and I'm pissed off for the people that lost their lives regardless of how they lost them or whatever. It's like I don't care if they were bad people or good people. They were not killed for that reason, and they all deserve the equal treatment.
It doesn't matter what reason they were killed for.
They deserve equal treatment.
They should have been killed at all.
Well, I'm just saying,
exactly.
In this instance, it's like, it's not like they were killed because they were bad people. It's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a freak thing. So it's like, why would we not show them all the same respect?
Yeah.
That's disgusting. And that's the media pushing an agenda to me.
CNN is just unbearable to watch right now.
Oh, and I don't even watch that. Yeah.
So part of it is, even if, let's say, it is just exactly what it is, and let's say he's just a crazy person who had a political agenda, and let's say he was a leftist because he shot up a country music fair, and that's kind of what everybody's settled on, is in the way that they, we'll never really know. We don't know a lot about why the San Bernardino couple, they were Muslim, so let's connect the dots there, or the Scalise shooter, he was a Democrat, so that must be what that was, like. We always kind of have these tangential motivations, but we never really know exactly. There's never, like, the Scalise shooter, for instance, that shot up the congressional baseball event. He didn't leave a note. He didn't say, this is what I'm doing. So we'll probably, I mean, the pattern seems to be that we never really get a definite answer. And at this point, if we don't have any kind of clue, we probably never will. But let's go to what is the easiest, which is he's a baby boomer leftist who shot up country music because he's anti-Trump and the climate has got him outraged. He sees our freedoms being taken away, and he's watching the NFL stuff. I don't know. Have you followed the NFL stuff that much?
I've heard about that stuff too.
Like the kneeling?
And I just say, fuck off. Like, fuck you guys. I think that
let me reset it, and then I'll throw it to you for an opinion. I just want to make sure before I did that you knew about it. So, Colin Kaepernick was sitting on the bench, and during the national anthem, some say because he was pouting because he didn't get to start. He says because he was protesting a nation that kills black people, that a nation that tolerates cops killing black men. Not against that. I'm down with that. It's his right to speak up. I totally support the First Amendment right to speak out against the government and its agents. Trump had healthcare fail, and then he introduced a new travel ban, so on Friday and Sunday, respectively, and he decided to tweet out that these NFL players were disrespectful and they needed to be fired.
Well,
and so
I think they are disrespectful.
That Sunday, they all took a knee in protest against the president, saying, basically speaking out about this stuff. So, and it just creates this caustic environment where people start to just really go after each other, and it just gets really intense, and it's
what a surprise, another diversion that's striking people right in the feels.
Right. And I have no problem with that, because I don't know about you, but the price of democracy, the price of having a republic and being a citizen of this country is arguing about politics.
For sure. Yeah. But also, it's about saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's about taking your fucking hat off and standing up for our national anthem. We've been doing that at sporting events for how long? It is a big deal.
Okay.
And I would like to just quick question when because I'm not I don't have all the exact facts, obviously. So this started, the taking a knee thing happened when?
About a year ago, I would say.
I remember whenever Black Lives Matter and they did it. Have they been doing it since then still?
Some have, but it really got ramped up that Sunday when Trump started going after them. A couple players had kneeled, and Kaepernick at the end of the season started kneeling as opposed to sitting on the bench after talking to a soldier. A soldier actually said, hey, dude, that's disrespectful to veterans. And he said, I don't want that to be about this. So that's when he started kneeling as opposed to sitting on the bench, out of respect to the military.
Yeah.
But the president made it about Kaepernick's and the NFL's patriotism.
But my thing is, it's like, whenever they started doing it, there were several black people that had been murdered by the police or so forth or so on as a direct result of the police at that time period. So that's why it was heated. That's why they were doing it. I don't watch sports, so I wouldn't know if people were doing it, still all through that time. But it's like, for him to just choose random ass times to just start doing it, I don't think so.
Right.
That, first of all, I mean, it's like, what event has caused you to get this hair up your ass and try to be all controversial right now? Or you're just, being a little crybaby bitch because you didn't get your way.
Right. And
you want to try to use a cause that gets dismissed because of people like him abusing it.
Right.
It's very counterproductive to the whole cause.
Mm-hmm.
And because then Trump says something, and then now everybody wants... You know what? I would say I'm going to show Trump that he can suck a dick. We're all going to fucking put our hand over our heart, and you know what I mean? Or what? It's like...
Right.
And we're going to give the flag and really, I guess, just the history of our country and the soldiers that have protected it, the respect they deserve, as we've done since this country was made, and that song was made as well.
Right.
I almost said born.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, come on. To me, it's just blatant disrespect. And I don't know. I just can't get behind that. And I just can't even say that you really are caring about a cause when you do that kind of behavior.
So you question, you don't question his right to protest about it. It's just like, why do it? Why choose that moment?
Well, I don't question his right to. I say wrong. I say you still do your. I mean, it should be in their contract that they do have to follow these rules and stuff that we all have followed in sporting events for the history of them going on. If you have a problem and you want to, you know what I mean? You are a millionaire. You are a celebrity. Use another platform. Do it in a different way. You don't use that. You're just trying to get yourself in a history book somewhere.
Right.
And it's disgusting because, again, it doesn't help your cause.
So
it really pits more people against one another.
So lots of libertarians, they don't like the symbology of it because a lot of, libertarians in general are anti-war. I'm anti-war, for instance. And we are led to war generally by patriotism. You support, in 2003 as we were leading up to Iraq, it was unpatriotic to not support America as we went to war. And it was a very, you probably remember that time. It was just very, toxic. And it was just very difficult for anybody who was against the war, which, looking back now, they were right, to speak out against it because people were so pro-America. And so
it's that get her done time.
Right. So for me, I love America and I love its people and I love our Constitution and I love our founding. I don't love our government and what it stands for right now, but I do love our people and our Constitution and what, to me, we are a miracle as a country. And,
for sure.
And, and I respect people who serve. And I respect people who go and fight in wars even when I don't agree with those wars.
That's exactly right. I do too. And for people that don't, and even if you don't, I don't really care. But it's very disrespectful. As somebody pointed on here, it's very disrespectful to our veterans to take your stand in that kind of a way. And I think that's disgusting. The things that they've seen and what they've been through. And
But what do you think about
rights?
What do you think about Kaepernick changing it from sitting on the bench to kneeling out of respect for the military?
Well, he says it's out of respect for the military, but how does the military feel? Do they feel more respected about it?
Right.
I don't think they do.
Fair point.
He's still using something that's near and dear to them. Again, what does that have to do with black people, with cops? You're taking, again, something that really directly affects the military. That's going to mean more to our military than anybody else as far as what you're doing there.
Right.
And families that have lost fathers, daughters, sons, you know what I mean? Whatever family member that, they know it for a fact, the price of that freedom that you have. And you're using that to, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's disgusting.
I just do also think, to add nuance to this, making the flag and the anthem and patriotism the sole domain of people who fight in wars and died for them, America's...
It's what's symbolic to them, though.
Right, but America's much bigger than just the wars that we fought. Or the people that fought in them,
But when you went through those experiences, which I have not, and I think anybody that's served in any, when I meet them and I hear they've, served in any of our military, I say thank you for your service, and I mean it. And it's who cares if it's the flag or the symbolic things, whatever it is to them, but it's what most of those people have seen and been through, it's they deserve to take something and hold it sacred to that. Because that, I bet, when they're sitting in trenches for days and days in their own waste and being shot at and having to kill people and going through these horrible experiences, I'm pretty sure it's that flag is the goal line, is the light at the end of the tunnel. That's why they're doing it, is that flag. That's what they, I think, have been kind of embedded to think. So it's really shitty for anybody, especially someone of that, with that kind of a platform and magnitude, to be a superstar football player, and to use what these people who have close to nothing, most of them probably, because again, our government treats them like shit. So it's and again, anybody who didn't like what this war or that war, they want to be mean to them or not care. And it's well, how about you go fuck yourself? Because no matter what, that person, they put their life on the line for you.
Right.
I don't care what level they did it at, but they did, because no matter what, it could have come to their life. So
Right.
you don't get to have a say in that, in my opinion.
All right, well, we got to wrap up, Miranda.
All right,
lots of current events in this one.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Gosh.
Miranda Barnett, political commentator.
That's right. Sticking it to these bitches.
Go ahead and send us off. Give
All
us a
right.
close.
Well, I would just like to close this episode and say, no matter what, thank you very much to all of our military and their family members. And, you know, I hope that we can all even stop and be nice to people, but then also stop and think as to why we have the life that we have and can even be nice to people, and thank those people accordingly. Write your government officials, whatever it takes. And it's like, let's step up for the military. And we're going to go ahead and close this out. We're going to wrap this up like a dirty diaper. Check us out on social media, Princess Maranda on Instagram.
C Spangle on Instagram.
Yeah, Snapchat is Miranda1219.
C Spangle again.
Okay, yeah, we're obviously real good at this. Just keep tuning into the We Are Libertarians station. Lots of cool podcasts happening.
Yep, Boss Hog of Liberty, We Are Libertarians, The Chris Spangle Show, all kinds of cool podcasts for you. Mm-hmm. And let's give a shout out to our bestie, Emily Sweet.
Woo-woo!
Amazon Prime, I think I saw that her show dropped today.
Oh, well, I thought it got pushed back.
Oh, did it? Okay. I wasn't sure, but...
She told me it did.
Okay.
Okay, but she still is out there, but it was pushed. Okay, but either way, SYN, SYN.
SYN, make sure you're watching Amazon Prime for it. I looked for it today and didn't see it, so that makes sense that it got pushed back. But please, watch our best friend Emily Sweet as she goes out there and is a major actress now. Like, she's a big deal.
Oh, God, yeah, she's the real deal.
I hope she remembers us little people.
I know. I hope she'll, let us, lay down and be the welcome mat.
I know.
Please just step on me.
We're not worthy. All right. Thank you for joining us here on this episode of Miranda's World. My name is Chris Spangle. That's Miranda Barnett, and we will see you next episode.
Later, chickens.
Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at WeareLibertarians.com.